Hi, I am James Paul White, and I am doing part 3 of our series, Church is a Verb. I believe that the things that we do should be done out of a sense of gratitude towards what God has done in our lives. It should be a natural response to the fact that He has forgiven us, that we are part of the family of God, that we are children of God, and this is just a natural response. And you're like, well, I don't do some of those things. Well, you need to pray about that and really check yourself. And I'm not saying you're not saved. I'm just saying really look at Acts 2. Look at what the early church was like. That's what we need to emulate. And just ask God, God, please open my heart, soften my heart, help me to be more like this. It says in Acts 2:42, and I forgot to read this last time, so please forgive me. But there's a reason why when I talked about fellowship, I wasn't talking about the Lord's Supper at all. And there's a reason why. And this is the NLT version. It says, all the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, which was part 1, and to the fellowship, and to the sharing of meals, including the Lord's Supper, and to prayer. So, we talked about last week, we didn't talk about communion. We talked about people coming together, breaking of bread. I talked about how I used to meet at a hospitality house and how being there with people in a small group really helped me to grow as a Christian. And I'm very grateful to Danny and Catherine Perez for doing that. I'm still friends with them to this day. Fellowship. Now, understand there's this very key concept when it comes to fellowship. The people that you hang around with, that's what you're going to become like. Now, there's bad, that can be bad, and that can be good. Now, in Proverbs 21, verse 16, here's the bad part. It says, the person who strays from common sense will end up in the company of the dead. It is possible to hang around with people and have them negatively influence you. Now, on the opposite side of the coin, Proverbs 13:20 says, walk with the wise and become wise, associate with fools and get in trouble. So we want to fellowship with wise people. We want to fellowship with Christians. We want to fellowship with people that are in this on a regular basis and learning from it, because that's how it's going to get from here to here. The Bible needs to be more than just head knowledge. It needs to go from your head to your heart and influence all areas of our lives, not just some. Now, understand this. If you read the Gospels, you'll understand that Jesus taught the multitudes. Yes, there's nothing wrong with large crowds, nothing wrong with being a part of a large church. I'm currently attending a church that has an auditorium that can hold about 1,000 people. I've been to Victory in Tulsa, and that auditorium holds about 5,000 people. That's great. But Jesus taught the multitudes. He invested time in his 12 disciples. And so I really think the small groups is where you're going to get real fellowship, where you can ask tough questions, where you can talk about tough things that's going on in your life, and really get the fellowship that you need. On Monday nights, we have a Bible study that I've been a part of. We're talking about the Pauline epistles, and that has just been absolutely wonderful. And just doing the Zoom meetings, it's been great for me. I need that fellowship. So here's the tough part. We're still dealing with this coronavirus. I know the news is talking about the race riots and people are angry about, and rightfully so, angry that George Floyd got killed the way he did. And we really need to train our police to not use those types of maneuvers. Excuse me. There's no need to use chokeholds. So how do we deal with it? I do believe that we can still use online services. I just an hour ago attended an online service, and it was absolutely great. But the small groups, we can either do Zoom, we can meet at other people's houses. Obviously, I think if you're even remotely thinking that you might be sick, or if you're concerned that someone else might be, you can, choose to wear the mask. I would encourage everybody to wear a mask, but that's my choice. Either way, I think these small groups is what's going to get us through this pandemic. And truth be told, as much as I love going to large church services, you're not going to build authentic, real, deep relationships with 1,000 people. It's just not going to happen. So, if you can have 3 to 5 people that know you, that can lovingly tell you, hey, I think you're making a mistake here, you might want to try this instead. If you can have those people in your life, that's really what's going to help you grow spiritually. And the times that I've had people in my life that knew me on a very personal and intimate basis, that's when I grew spiritually. I've had good mentors in the past. I've had good friends at churches that I've been a part of. And that's the real fellowship, is the people that know you and that you can share anything with, and you know that they're not going to repeat it. And, when you have a small group, you really need to emphasize that what's said in the group stays in the group, unless they're planning on hurting themselves or somebody else. Then you need to tell somebody. But having a place where you can be, where people feel safe, they feel that that they can share anything about their lives, they can ask questions. It's always good to ask questions of other believers, especially those that have been in the faith longer than you have. So that fellowship is going to help you grow spiritually. And so that's part 3 of our series. Next week we are, let's see, we talked about apostles' teaching, we talked about fellowship, breaking of bread, and next week will be prayer. And then after that will be verse 43, and you'll have to read that on your own. There's 2 more parts after that, talking about signs and wonders, and then sharing the possessions. So, hope this has been encouraging to you. I hope this has been a benefit to you. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll put my email address if you'd like to get in touch with me. I hope you have a great week. Take care, and God bless.